Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's episode of Ask Leah. It's great to be here this week. It has been another huge week for me here with my business, and I want to kick off tonight's episode with a huge thank you to all of my incredible people out there who watch and follow along on the page for the amazing support following the release of my book, Soft is the New Hard, How to Communicate Effectively Under Pressure. The response has been phenomenal. I've sold a truckload more books than I expected to, and the thing that is most rewarding is the feedback that I've been getting. So I had an awesome message from someone this morning who said they're 42 and haven't read a book since high school, and they were halfway through my book and they were loving it. I got another beautiful snap from someone reading my book in a coffee shop today who said they were loving the fact that it was easy to read and real words and real stories. So I am so thrilled that the book is resonating with people out there. It is still available through my website, leahmethod.com.au. It is also up on Amazon now as an ebook. So if you're a Kindle fan, an ebook reader, you can grab it there. And it's in a range of local bookstores. So it's in Traralgon Books, Mall News Power, Variety Book Room in Moe, and Warragul Need to Read in Warragul. And by the end of the week or early next week, it will be in Collins Bookstore in Sale as well. I have had a few people ask me when it's going to be in East Gippsland down Bairnsdale way. I do hope to get it in a bookstore that way soon, but in the meantime, if you want a signed copy, jump on the website. I get them in the mail straight away for you. And I'd love to hear your feedback. So if you are on Amazon or you're a Goodreads member, one of the most awesome things you could do for me is jump on, leave a review. Now, tonight's episode of Ask Leah, I've got two questions to answer, and they're pretty tricky. So let's get straight into the first one. I received an email yesterday from someone who works in a large organization, and I'm going to follow up with this person. We've back and forth over email a bit, but I actually really want to have a phone conversation with this person about the issue, because it involves really serious bullying, very serious workplace bullying by the sounds of what was contained in the email, and a pretty serious situation. And this person was asking for advice on how they should approach their manager. So let me give you a bit of context. There is someone in a position within a large team who is an absolute bully, is bullying lots of different staff, using intimidation tactics, going on a bit of a power trip, making calls about staffing that, you know, they shouldn't be, really making people feel not so much unsafe, but feeling sick about going to work. There's people calling in, literally calling in sick because of their stress levels working with this person. Now, unfortunately, the manager is intimidated by this person too and has outright admitted that. So this person who is doing the bullying behavior is really just getting away with it and getting free rein because no one really knows how to handle them. Now, the person who emailed me has raised this issue, you know, softly as they can with their manager before, but really the manager just dismissed it. And actually this person felt like they'd pretty much been punished for saying anything because they then had some shifts cut back. And the question that the person had for me was, how do I raise this with my manager? And the reason I want to follow up with this person is because I really want some more context before I give that final advice on what I think she should do. And again, take it or leave it, because my advice is just advice. There's no one right or wrong. But I do want to say, as you all know, I'm a huge advocate for having direct conversations and, having those difficult conversations. However, there are situations where for your own well-being, for your best chance of getting an outcome, and also for covering your bum, the direct conversation isn't necessarily what needs to be had. And my read on this so far is that this has actually gone past an issue to be raised with the manager, because it's already been raised and there's been some repercussions. Now, I actually know this organisation quite well and know that they are trying to change the culture there at the moment, and there's, that's been actively said. And I actually think this is something that the person probably needs to go direct to HR about. Now, I very much appreciate that going to HR with a complaint has its own risks. And so my advice to this person is actually not to go with a formal complaint straight away, but to organise a meeting with HR seeking advice on what they should do. And I would approach the conversation rather than saying this person is being a bully and making it, about the person and an accusation. Hi, Penny and Hannah. My suggestion is that she go to HR and say, look, I'm actually really concerned about the impact within our team, and that this organisation is at risk of losing some really great staff members because of this behaviour. And I know you're trying so hard to change the culture. I've read that, I've heard what you're saying, and with that in mind, I felt like I had a responsibility to raise this issue, because I know how much we're working on it, and I'm concerned for the sake of the organisation. Approaching it in this way, you're still raising the bullying issue, but approaching it in this way is a bit more nuanced. It's a bit strategic, because you're not making it about a personality clash, which sometimes these sort of incidents can be dismissed as. By raising it in a way where you're actually concerned about the organisation and the impact it's having on staff, you're a bit more clever, and they're more likely to pay attention and see it not as a personal vendetta. The other thing I encouraged this person to do, they sent me a beautiful, well-documented email with what has gone on. I've encouraged this person to keep a copy of that email, because, again, this is a way of covering your bum. And if they do go to HR, I would be documenting that. On this date, I met with HR, I raised these issues, this was their response. Document everything, every interaction that you have, so that you can take that further. I'd get the advice from HR, and I would actually say to HR, I'm very nervous about raising this, because there have been repercussions within our team from people who have raised concerns. And to be honest, I really didn't even want to come to HR with this, because I'm concerned about my job. You need to lay this out there. You actually need to put that on the record and say it, because it's a lot harder for people to respond that way if you've outright said that is your legitimate concern. Now, the reason I suggested that this might be the best approach in this really serious case is because HR may have some advice. It wouldn't surprise me if senior management in this organisation really do want to know that this sort of stuff's going on. I can guarantee you they would be horrified, particularly when they're trying to stamp out this sort of behaviour. So, like I said, usually, as you all know, I'm a massive advocate for having that direct conversation with the manager, the direct manager. However, this case, I think, does go past that. I think there are some serious issues happening. You've already tried to raise it with the manager. The manager has outright admitted that they're intimidated by this bully as well. I don't know that that's your best bet. Do you have to do it alone? Do you have to be the only one responsible? No, it might be that there's a couple of people willing to do it, but if you're wanting to sort of keep a low profile and just get that advice and support from your organisation about the best way to tackle it, maybe just having that, look, this is an unofficial, at this stage I'm not in a position where I want to raise a complaint. I'm concerned about our organisation and the future of our team, because I think good people are leaving and calling in sick because of the behaviour of this bully. This situation sucks. It is, I was actually really upset to read this email. It is distressing that this sort of bullying behaviour still happens in workplaces and in good workplaces. But it does. And unfortunately, this case is actually a perfect example, because it sounds like everyone knows this bullying behaviour is going on. It's not just to one person. This is across the board within a large team. The manager knows. The people within the team know. I'm sure there's people around them that know. You know, you've got an organisation that's trying to change its culture, but this behaviour is still happening. People are ringing in sick because they're all intimidated and don't want to deal with it. And, you know, it shouldn't happen, but it does. And sometimes it does take someone to, you know, put it out there and try to have that conversation. But it's really important that the person who emailed me gets support as well, and that certainly I will be offering any support I can give in how to have these conversations, and I'll also be suggesting a couple of other options, but that would be my approach in this very difficult situation. Okay, the second one that I had was from someone that I've been working with who is having an issue with some of their colleagues always dumping work last minute on them, and, you know, saying that it's urgent and that it needs to be done now. And the issue is, because it's not one person dumping last minute work on them, multiple people are coming to them and saying, this is urgent, can you please look at this for me now? They've found they're incredibly reactive. They're not able to get all of the work done by the time it needs to, because everything's been said as urgent. And they're getting frustrated, and they said to me, look, I think, you know, I've got to find a way of dealing with this, managing it better. I think I need to tell them that, you know, they have to give me a certain amount of time. They have to get it to me, you know, whether it's 1 day, 2 days, 3 days earlier before it needs signing off for me to look at it, or otherwise I'm not going to be able to. And we had a great chat about how to approach this conversation to give yourself the best chance of getting the result you want. So the result that this person wants is for people to stop dumping things on her at the last minute and saying they're urgent, okay? Now, if they approach this by telling their colleagues, you know what, this sucks, this is crap, I'm just having to react, it's not fair on me, I've got other priorities, you need to get stuff to me earlier. Here's the thing, that's what you want to say, but to your colleagues, they don't care. Because sadly, we are all selfish, and they're so caught up in their own deadlines and what's going on that when you start laying down the law like that, they're going to get their backs up and be like, well, come on, you're not being flexible. I need to work like this. And they're going to see it about you trying to dictate to them. So the conversation I had with this person was about how you can flip it around to have the conversation but present it as of benefit to your colleagues if they get you the stuff a bit earlier. So rather than say, look, this isn't fair, I need you to get it to me earlier, we spoke through about speaking to the colleagues to say something along the lines of, you know what, I really want to help you to be able to meet your deadlines, and I'm here to do that the best way I can, but my concern is, because it's not just you coming to me with that really urgent stuff, it's everyone. I then have to prioritize levels of urgency, and sometimes, although it's really urgent for you, sometimes there'll be something else that trumps it, and I don't want you to miss your deadline. So the best way that I can guarantee that I will not miss your deadline, if you can always get anything you need signed off to me, 24 hours, 2 days, whatever time frame you decide, if you can get it to me within that time frame, I can guarantee you that I will always meet your deadlines. I can always get it done in that case. I really want to help you here, and that's how I know I can deliver for you. If you present it more like that, then guess what? Rather than them see you as dictating to them, they see you as trying to help them, trying to help solve their problem. You're after a win-win. And the benefit is, without even mentioning that this is what you need because you're being reactive and under the pump and you've got other priorities, you haven't even mentioned that. You've made it about what's in it for them. And that's what we need to do. What's in it for them? How can we solve their problem while solving our own in the process? Hello to all of those who have just joined me. For those who have joined in late, I really encourage you to go back and watch the start tonight. The first question was a doozy, and I hope I've given that person some ideas on how to deal with that situation. If anyone has a last minute question, feel free to pop it in. Otherwise, I am going to sign off in a sec. Before I do go, I do have a couple more book signing events this weekend. On Saturday, I'm at Onyx Whole Food Cafe in Traralgon from 9:30 a.m. till 11 a.m. That's on Saturday. Come in, buy a book, $25 cash or card, and you get a free coffee on me. And they do really good coffee, really good food too. So come in, have a chat, buy a book, grab a coffee. On Sunday, I'm at the beautiful Courthouse restaurant in Warragul, out in the garden bar if the weather is nice. And I'm there in the afternoon from 1:30 until 3 on Sunday at the Courthouse in Warragul. Again, free coffee or hot chocolate, whatever floats your boat, is on me. So do come along. If you have read the book, again, I'd love to hear what you think. Send me your feedback. If you didn't like it, I'm all ears. Tell me. But I'm so thrilled that most people who have read it so far have loved it. And it really is a wonderful feeling to know that you are helping people have these difficult conversations and to work on themselves, because it does start with you. All right, folks, thank you for tuning in. I hope you have a fantastic week. School holidays are nearly upon us. I'm not really sure how that happened. To my teacher friends, enjoy the last few days. To all of those parents out with kids in school, I will see you next Wednesday, and let's check in and see how we're going. Maybe the questions for Ask Leah next Wednesday will be around how to communicate with our kids in the school holidays. Anyway, folks, cheers. Have a great evening. Bye.